If you are making six figures in America right now, but your bank account still hits zero every single month, this video is going to hurt. Because the cold, hard math says you aren't actually rich. You've just been highly trained by the system to look rich, while staying completely broke in reality. In 2026, the middle-class trap has evolved. You don't fail the American dream because you don't earn enough. You fail because you are bleeding cash from hidden financial wounds that society told you were normal. Today, we are putting your bank statement in front of a mirror. No corporate jargon, no useless advice. These are the 8 brutal money habits actively destroying your wealth and exactly how to break them before your 40s leave you stranded. Habit 1. Normalizing the golden handcuffs. Now, let's look at the first trap right outside your window. Walk into any suburban neighborhood in America, and you'll notice a bizarre contradiction. Beautiful driveways lined with $60,000 trucks and luxury SUVs, while inside those houses, the owners are secretly losing sleep. Welcome to the era of vehicular slavery. The average new car payment in the United States has violently ballooned to over $700 a month, with countless professionals locked into staggering $900 or $1,000 monthly commitments. But the real tragedy isn't just the monthly drain, it's the psychological trap. You get a promotion or a tech job paying 6 figures, and your immediate instinct is to look the part. You head straight to the dealership to claim your prize. What nobody tells you is that a car is a rapidly melting ice cube. Yet, millions of active, educated adults willingly sign up for 72 or 84-month loans just to force a lifestyle flex that their net worth cannot actually support. Let's look at the brutal math. If you take that same $900 a month and redirect it into a basic index fund instead of a monthly truck note, that single decision compounds into roughly $1 million over a standard working career. That means your desire to look wealthy in your 30s is actively costing you $1 million retirement asset. You are working 40 hours a week just to fund a metal box that depreciates while you sleep. Driving a depreciating liability to impress strangers you don't even like is the fastest way to guarantee you stay rich only on paper, and completely broke in reality. Habit 2. The rewards card illusion. Let's talk about the ultimate financial Trojan horse sitting inside your wallet right now, the free money illusion of credit card rewards. We have been brilliantly brainwashed by credit card companies into believing we are beating the system. You swipe your platinum or gold card for groceries, flights, and designer clothes, smugly thinking about the 2% cashback or the airline miles you're accumulating. You tell yourself, I'm gaming the banks. But let's pull back the curtain on the real math. Nationwide, Americans are drowning in an astronomical $1.23 trillion in credit card debt. The average consumer is carrying a balance of over $5,500, dragging along an average APR that has violently spiked to around 23%. Here is the psychological trap. Banks don't give away free flights out of charity. Those shiny rewards and cashback bonuses are carefully engineered bait designed to lower your psychological pain of paying. Studies prove that when you swipe a piece of plastic or look at a digital wallet, your brain doesn't register the loss of money the same way it does with hard cash. It triggers frictionless spending. You justify an extra $100 dinner or a $300 online shopping spree because, hey, I'm getting points for this. But the instant you fail to pay off your balance in full at the end of the month, the trap snaps shut. Those 2% rewards you bragged about evaporate in a single microsecond when the bank hits you with a brutal 23% interest charge. If you carry that average $5,500 balance and make only the minimum monthly payments, you will easily hand over $3,000 purely in interest to billionaires on Wall Street. More than 60% of people carrying credit card debt have been trapped under that same balance for over a year. You are literally financing a temporary lifestyle boost today by mortgaging your actual retirement tomorrow. The banks aren't losing the game, you are funding their skyscrapers. If you want to build quiet wealth in your 30s and 40s, stop playing the rewards game with a corporation that has 1,000 data scientists working to make you overspend. If you can't buy it outright with cash today, you cannot afford it on credit. Period. Habit 3. Keeping up with the fake rich. Let's confront the silent psychological virus destroying the bank accounts of suburban America, keeping up with the Joneses. Only in 2026, the Joneses are completely broke. They are financing their entire lives on a mountain of high-interest debt, but because their Instagram feed looks flawless and their front yard looks pristine, you are actively sabotaging your financial future trying to match their illusion. This is status inflation, and it is a treadmill to nowhere. In your 30s and 40s, social pressure shifts from fitting into flexing stability. You see your coworker upgrade to a custom-built home, your neighbor install an in-ground pool, or your friends booking luxury resorts in Europe. Instantly, a toxic psychological trigger flips inside your brain. You start feeling a deep sense of lag. You think, I work just as hard as them, I make 6 figures, why shouldn't I have that too? What you don't see is the financial horror show behind closed doors. You don't see the massive secondary mortgage, the maxed out credit lines, or the absolute panic that hits them when the mailman delivers the monthly bills. You are playing a competitive sport where the rules are rigged. You are spending real, hard-earned cash to replicate a lifestyle that your neighbors are renting from commercial banks. This toxic habit breeds lifestyle creep. Every single time your income scales up, your expenses magically expand to swallow the difference. You get a $10,000 corporate raise, and instead of routing that capital straight into your brokerage account to buy your freedom, you instantly trade it for a higher zip code, premium gym memberships, and $15 organic grocery hauls. You are running faster and faster just to stay in the exact same place financially. Look at the underlying psychology. Status inflation is driven entirely by a desperate need for external validation. We use material objects as a shorthand script to tell the world, look, I've made it. But true wealth is completely silent. True wealth is the money you don't spend. It's the liquidity sitting quietly in tax-advantaged accounts, generating compounding interest while you sleep. Fake wealth is loud, depreciating, and heavy. It's a golden cage built from 72-month car notes and aesthetic home renovations. When you succumb to status inflation, you aren't just buying clothes, gadgets, or vacations you can't afford, you are actively trading your future time. Every time you buy a luxury item to project an aura of wealth, you are sentencing your 50-year-old self to another year of corporate captivity. You are choosing to slave away under a micromanaging boss just so you can look affluent to strangers at a weekend barbecue, strangers who are too busy worrying about their own secret debts to actually care about yours. The cure to this madness is a radical psychological shift, embracing the absolute power of looking poor while getting rich silently. The most dangerous financial superpower in modern America is the ability to sit in a room full of people flexing their financed lives and feel absolutely zero urge to compete. Let them have the flashy leases and the temporary social media applause. You play the long game. Break the cycle of status inflation, decouple your self-worth from your spending habits, and start building real, unshakable sovereignty. Habit 4, Financial Blindness and the Subscription Bleeding. Let's talk about a silent financial assassin that doesn't hit you in one giant blow, but slowly bleeds you dry through 1,000 microscopic cuts. Financial blindness. Most educated, six-figure earners in their 30s and 40s have absolutely no clue where their hard-earned money actually goes every month. You check your bank app, see a positive number, and assume you're doing fine. This lack of tracking is a psychological coping mechanism. Deep down, you are terrified of looking at the raw, unfiltered data of your spending because you know it will shatter the illusion of your financial control. The premier vector for this blindness in modern America is the subscription trap. Welcome to the rent everything, own nothing economy. Corporations have masterfully shifted their business models from one-time purchases to recurring monthly microtransactions. You sign up for a premium streaming service, a gym app you haven't opened in 6 months, cloud storage, a meal prep kit, automated Amazon deliveries, and software tools for your side hustle. Individually, these look entirely harmless. It's just $9.99 here, $14.99 there, or $29.99 for a premium membership. But when you operate with complete financial blindness, these micro-leaks compound into a massive raging river. If you pull up your bank statements from the last 90 days right now and audit every single recurring transaction, I guarantee you will find at least $300 to $500 per month slipping away into phantom subscriptions you don't even value, or worse, forgot you were even paying for. Let's look at the brutal opportunity cost of this passivity. That $400 a month of invisible bleeding isn't just pocket change. Over a decade, if that same capital were consistently routed into a low-cost index fund, it would grow into nearly $70,000. You are literally sacrificing a massive financial cushion just because you are too lazy or too intimidated to spend 20 minutes reviewing a spreadsheet. Financial blindness strips away your accountability. When your spending is invisible, your behavior never shifts. You stay trapped on the paycheck-to-paycheck treadmill, wondering why a six-figure salary feels so incredibly tight. Corporations spend billions designing frictionless checkout systems and auto-renewals specifically to exploit this exact mental laziness. They profit when you look away. Stop flying blind. Building true wealth requires absolute, granular awareness of your financial perimeter. You cannot optimize what you do not track. Download your bank statements, categorize every single transaction in black and white, and violently cancel every subscription that does not actively buy you happiness or generate income. Stop letting corporate America draft money out of your future just because you refuse to open your eyes. Habit 5, the leftover savings. Let's expose the two most devastating behavioral traps that working professionals fall into during their peak earning years: the backward math of leftover savings and the invisible, compounded penalty of financial procrastination. First, let's dismantle the absolute myth of the leftovers approach. Most educated Americans handle their money completely backward. Your monthly paycheck lands in your account, and you immediately dispatch it to cover rent, utilities, insurance, credit card reward straps, dining out, and weekend entertainment. You look at your lifestyle and think, whatever is left at the end of the month, I'll throw it into my savings or brokerage account. Spoiler alert, there is never anything left. This is what financial architects call paying yourself last, and it is a poverty mindset operating in maximum overdrive. By saving only what remains after fueling your lifestyle, you are essentially treating your future self, your retirement, and your freedom as the absolute lowest priorities on your balance sheet. You are paying the landlord, the car dealership, the restaurant owner, and Netflix, while leaving yourself completely broke. Look at the macro reality across the country right now. The average American personal savings rate has cratered to a staggering 3.5%, less than half of the historical average. This means that while corporate salaries look impressive on paper, people are saving absolute pennies on the dollar while basic living costs continue to climb. Wealthy individuals flip this equation completely on its head through immediate automation. The moment income hits their ledger, a minimum of 10% to 20% is automatically routed into investments before a single bill is paid. You must treat your future self like your most aggressive, non-negotiable creditor. If you don't automate your boundaries, lifestyle creep will consume every single dollar you make. But the danger multiplies exponentially when you pair leftover saving with habit number 6, financial procrastination. In your 30s and 40s, it is incredibly easy to justify waiting. You tell yourself, I'll start aggressively investing next year after I pay off this car loan, or I'll maximize my portfolio once my kid is out of daycare. You assume that because you are young and making a strong salary, time is a luxury you can afford to waste. This is a catastrophic mathematical delusion. In the world of wealth creation, procrastination is the single most expensive tax you will ever pay. The cost of waiting is not linear, it is brutal, compounding, and completely unforgiving. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers. Imagine you have a lump sum of $10,000 ready to deploy right now. If you invest that capital today at a standard 7% annualized return in 30 years, that single decision compounds into roughly $76,000. However, if you procrastinate and wait just 5 short years to deploy that exact same $10,000, your final balance at retirement drops to just $54,000. Think about that logic very carefully. A simple 5-year delay didn't just cost you a little bit of time, it literally vaporized over $20,000 of pure wealth out of your future pocket. You didn't lose that money to a bad stock market crash or a scam, you lost it purely to your own passivity. The same reality applies to monthly contributions. A professional who starts investing a few $100s a month in their late 20s or early 30s can easily finish their career with more than double the net worth of someone who waits until their late 30s or 40s to get serious, even if the late starter pumps in significantly more cash. Time in the market will always violently outperform trying to find the perfect moment. Stop waiting for a financial miracle, a market crash, or a massive salary bump to clear the path for you. Every single month you spend overanalyzing, hesitating, or prioritizing consumer items over assets, you are actively burning future leverage. Break the cycle. Flip the equation, automate your paycheck deductions on day one, stop waiting for the perfect conditions, and realize that starting small today is worth infinitely more than planning big tomorrow. Habit 7. Overpaying the government. Let's expose the final 2 massive wealth leaks that keep high-earning Americans trapped in a cycle of perpetual middle-class anxiety, completely ignoring tax optimization and hitting the artificial ceiling of a single income stream. First, let's look at the absolute financial blindness surrounding taxes. Taxes will indisputably be the single biggest expense of your entire lifetime. Yet, millions of active, college-educated professionals in their 30s and 40s sign their W-2 forms, hand their documents to a random accountant once a year, and completely tune out. You assume that because you are paying what you owe, you are doing everything right. This is a massive, multi-$100,000 mistake. There is a grand chasm between tax evasion, which is illegal, and tax avoidance, which is your absolute legal right. Wealthy individuals don't just earn more, they understand how the tax code works, and they use it as a tool to accelerate their compounding. If you are blindly investing all your money into standard, taxable brokerage accounts while leaving your tax-advantaged vehicles completely empty, you are voluntarily giving away your future sovereignty. Let's look at the cold reality. If you route your capital into a vehicle like a Roth IRA or a workplace 401k, that money grows entirely tax-free or tax-deferred. By the time you reach retirement, a tax-optimized portfolio can easily finish hundreds of thousands of dollars ahead of a standard taxable account even if you invested the exact same amount of money in the exact same index funds. That massive gap isn't from superior market performance, it is purely the reward for understanding the rules of the game. When you operate with complete tax blindness, you are essentially writing a massive tip check to the government every single year with money that should have been buying your freedom. But this leak becomes fatal when you pair it with the ultimate financial bottleneck, habit number 8, focusing entirely on cutting expenses while ignoring your income ceiling. We have been conditioned by traditional finance gurus to believe that wealth is built entirely by depriving ourselves. You spend hours cutting coupons, skipping your morning espresso, and canceling minor streaming apps. You feel incredibly productive because you saved $50 this week. But let's look at the absolute flaw in this logic. The math of saving has a hard, unyielding floor. No matter how aggressively you clip coupons or starve your lifestyle, you can only ever cut your expenses down to zero. Your ability to save is completely capped. Your income, however, has an absolutely infinite ceiling. True wealth creation requires a dual-engine approach. While maximizing your savings rate is foundational, the real leverage in your 30s and 40s comes from aggressively expanding your earning power. If you focus all your mental bandwidth on saving $100 a month, you generate $1,200 a year. But if you redirect that exact same creative energy into negotiating a corporate raise, building a side venture, or launching digital products, adding an extra $500 or $1,000 a month to your ledger becomes completely realistic. Stop playing defense with your money. Skills, promotions, and side hustles scale. Restriction does not. You cannot pinch your way to a multi-million-dollar net worth if you are operating on a capped salary that barely outpaces inflation. Break the ceiling. Plug your tax leaks, realize that your earning potential is your greatest financial weapon, and start playing a high-speed offensive game. Now that we've violently exposed the hidden wounds bleeding your net worth dry, it's time to stop playing defense. You are officially done being a casualty of a rigged economic system. To break out of high-income poverty and transition from looking rich to building unshakable, quiet wealth, you need an immediate, tactical escape plan. No vague concepts, no corporate fluff. These are the 3 legal financial loopholes you need to hardwire into your life this exact week. Step 1, the autopilot extraction, the 10% ghost rule. The absolute biggest behavioral mistake you are making is relying on willpower to save what is left over. Willpower fails every single time against corporate marketing algorithms. You must completely remove human emotion and manual decision-making from your banking perimeter. Log into your employer payroll portal or your primary banking app tomorrow morning and set up a non-negotiable, automated transfer. The exact day your paycheck drops, a minimum of 10% to 20% of your gross income must instantly vanish into a completely separate high-yield savings or brokerage account before you even catch a glimpse of it. You need to make this capital invisible to your own consumer impulses. If you never see the money sitting in your primary checking account, your brain will naturally adjust your lifestyle to live off the remaining balance. You aren't restricting yourself, you are aggressively paying your most important creditor first, your future self. Step 2. Erecting the 6-month liquidity wall. A massive 43% of Americans are living on a financial knife edge, one mechanical failure or medical bill away from compounding credit card debt. You need to build a fortress that completely insulates your investments from everyday chaos. Your second immediate target is calculating your exact, bare-bones survival number for 1 month housing, basic food, utilities, and insurance. Multiply that number by 6. That is your liquidity wall. This capital belongs in a secure, liquid high-yield savings account earning optimal interest, completely decoupled from your daily spending cards. This fund is not an investment, it is an insurance policy against corporate layoffs and economic volatility. The psychological shift that occurs when you have a 6-month cash buffer is staggering. You stop making panicked, fear-based career decisions because you know you have the leverage to walk away from a toxic environment without going broke. Step 3. Triggering the low-cost index compound engine. Once your liquidity wall is built, every single dollar generated by your autopilot extraction must be aggressively deployed into automated, low-cost index funds tracking the total stock market or the S&P 500. Stop trying to day trade, chase volatile crypto trends, or find the perfect stock. Wall Street wants you to think investing is complex, so you pay them hefty management fees. By consistently buying the entire market through tax-advantaged vehicles like a Roth IRA or maximizing your employer 401k match, you are leveraging the most powerful wealth creation mechanism in human history, uninterrupted compounding. Let your neighbors collect depreciating car notes and heavy consumer debt to project an illusion of status. You are going to collect assets that pay you while you sleep. Here is the ultimate truth you need to swallow before you click away. The algorithm brought you to this video because it knew you were ready for a reality check. But watching this content without taking immediate, ruthless action is just another form of cheap entertainment. You are simply consuming financial dopamine while your bank account continues to bleed. The line in the sand is right here. If you are genuinely done working 40 hours a week just to fund a depreciating metal box in your driveway and pay off a credit card company's skyscraper, you need to break the loop today. Do not close this tab and promise yourself you'll look at your bank statements this weekend. Weekend never comes. I want you to drop a comment right now and type out one single sentence. I am committing to step 1, 2, or 3 this week. Declare your target to the community. By typing it out, you force your brain to acknowledge the contract. It shifts your mindset from a passive viewer into an active builder of quiet wealth. If this video violently shook you out of your comfort zone, hit that subscribe button right now. At Sky Invests, we don't do corporate fluff, and we don't give you safe, comforting lies. We deliver the cold, brutal math you need to engineer your actual freedom. Share this video with the one friend you know is trapped in the high-income poverty cycle but keeps flexing a lifestyle they can't afford. Break the matrix, execute your blueprint, and let your money finally start working for you. See you in the next video.